Hey guys, welcome back to Steve Basinger Fishing. I'm back here in the boat again today. I just wanted to do something pretty quick and go over colors. I wanted to go over colors. You hear all the time people talk about colors are not the most important thing. I think that's true, but I don't think it's true in the sense that everyone tries to apply it. If that was true, then no one would have favorite colors. Even the pros that are saying colors don't matter, yeah, I promise you they got some favorite colors, and they got some colors they're not going to tell you about. Color matters. The way that I think color matters is obviously when trying to match profiles, match the hatch. So like if you're fishing a place that has mostly bluegill colors like that works. Sometimes, while I hook myself and get everything stuck in me, sometimes you're fishing a place that has shad, so you throw a shad color. That, like this one, this is cricket shad. That's a pretty, somewhat muted color, but it's a really good all-around shad color. Or there are times when you're going for something that needs to be off the wall. I've actually got in the box right here. Needs to be off the wall. Now I'm dropping everything now. And it shows the fish something different. A lot of times in catching fish in our pressured waters these days, that's what it's about, is showing them something different. So you show them something like this. This is not a color you really see everywhere. This color is actually called Joker. Now, that being said, like that's kind of what I think about colors, but I want to talk to you guys about picking colors and picking colors that don't just catch fishermen. They also catch fish. There's a lot of pretty colors out there. You guys see a lot of custom paint stuff, I mean, all over Facebook and stuff. I'm with Skirmish Baits right here. By the way, this was not planned in this video. I just realized I'm actually wearing this hoodie right now. I'm a part of Skirmish Baits. They were a custom painted hard bait company. But if you ever hold any of the lures from Skirmish Baits and then hold your average run-of-the-mill custom paint, you can tell some major differences. One major one is going to be in the epoxy that they use. So this is a Skirmish Baits crankbait. This is an M9D, and let's go with this guy right here. By the way, this is not a bag on anybody else's companies. This is not even a promotion of Skirmish Baits. This is just telling you my straight up opinion on other baits. This is some other company. I have no idea who this is. It could just be some guy named Joe that paints out of his garage. I have no idea. First thing I ever notice is the epoxy. I don't know how well you can see that, but you see a lot of like clear coat shine on this. Whereas with this one, you don't see that. It's kind of, I'm looking in the camera, it's kind of hard to tell that, but there is a difference. Clear coat shine, not so much. It's more muted. You guys have seen bait fish swim in the water. Shad, bluegills, bluebacks, crawfish, I don't care what it is. None of them are overly shiny, typically, right? Even on a shiny day, if you see a school of shad go swimming by, they don't really just light the place up, you know what I mean? So I tend to stay away from the heavily epoxied ones. Also, so much epoxy and so much paint on a bait starts to make it not run correctly. And that really gets important when you start getting to jerk baits. This particular jerk bait you see out there for custom paints all over the place. I know this is a pretty crazily painted one. A lot of these baits aren't mine. I borrowed a buddy's box to show you guys because I don't have a lot of these. But anyways, you see this maybe not this color, but this style of jerk bait a lot. Now, again, I don't know if you can see it on the camera. There's a lot of epoxy on this guy. You want a jerkbait that suspends, preferably, absolutely perfectly, but more than likely to slowly sink or so slowly rise depending on the water temperature. If you put a ton of epoxy and stuff on this guy ain't gonna do none of those. It's gonna sink much faster than you want, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't go and put suspend dots to make it do whatever. It's just, you spend a lot of money on something that's not really gonna do what you need it to do. So then we got this guy. This is the Skirmish Baits Aim 9, also a suspending jerkbait. Again, like with Skirmish, they don't put a ton of epoxy. They don't actually, I don't know exactly what it is that they use to clear coat. You'd have to hit up old Dwayne for that. But it's, you can feel it. You can feel it on here that you're feeling the scales. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see the scales of the bait. When you feel along here, you can feel that. Whereas in these other baits, I don't know if there's scales actually supposed to, yeah, there's scales on this. You can't feel it. It's so smooth because that's all that epoxy. That square bill crankbait that I picked up, same deal. Also, some of these you can feel down and it feels kind of gritty, like they're little bits of sand or bubbles or whatever that's in the epoxy. You can even see them when you look at them. A lot of guys don't know what to look for when they're seeing these custom painted baits. Guys custom paint everywhere. There's some really good looking stuff out there, but a lot of people don't know what they're looking for. You go and pick one of these up and you're like, ooh, that's pretty, I need that. But, you know, take your time. You wouldn't do that with well, some people do that with cars. I do it with boats. Take your time. Just feel it out. You ain't got to give nobody no money, man. Just feel it out. See what it feels like. Take a good look at it. And then make your decision based off that. A lot of companies out there, they're using a lot of the same blanks for a lot of stuff. A lot of the square bills are the same. So action-wise, you're typically getting a lot of the same action. But what's going to set these guys apart when you're buying custom baits is, like I said, how much epoxy they're putting on there and then how they paint them. Skirmish Baits has done a lot of research in that they have went in to see like what colors bass see under certain water temperatures and so on and so forth, and certain water clarities, all this kind of stuff. I don't want to give up all their secrets because, I mean, they try to make some money too, but they have found that color, and well, I won't say everyone, but the vast majority of their baits are painted with a base or a majority or at least some form of this color. Let's not use that one, it's pretty beat up. But you'll find them, you know, all, oh, I'm holding up here, along the tops a lot, stuff like that. Whereas I'm looking at a lot of these other baits that are out there, and they don't really have this color. They got a variation, but they don't have this color. All these other baits, they have black. It ain't black. Black is not the color. The other thing that I would say that I try to avoid, I don't have any baits here that are like this, but I try to avoid where it's goes from one color, solid line, to another color. Again, no bait out there looks like that. Like no living creature goes from being one color here, dead solid line, to another color. Everything just blends naturally, and that's what you want in your baits too. And keep in mind, like with crankbaits, or you know, really all your hard baits, nothing just swims through straight. So even though you've got this pretty beautiful pattern here, that's not really what the fish are seeing. This bait, this one in particular, is a square bill, so while it's doing this, it's also got a little roll to it. So I mean, you see how that's what you're seeing there when I'm doing that. You got like a little flash of it. You got like dark and then flash and dark and flash and dark and flash. And I can keep going on that if you want me to. That's the kind of stuff they're going to see. So yes, they would a bass is probably going to be like, that's a bluegill, but it's not giving it a great look, and they have to react to it. That's what this whole square bill and power fishing is all about. When you start to have like solid lines in there, it just looks very unnatural, and it gives the bass, or whatever it is you're fishing for, one more reason not to eat that lure. So one more thing that I try to stay away from are these like straight up like fish patterns. You see it on a lot, you know, these, I don't know what this one is supposed to be. It's obviously some sort of brim. That one is too. I think that would technically be a pumpkin seed, but I'm not real straight up on those. In the camera, I'll tell you, it looks much better in the camera than it does in person. This is very, for a pumpkin seed, doesn't even look close. It's not that great. It doesn't look right, man. And this, like, it's got the long ear or whatever off the gill plate like a brim, but I've never really seen one that color. Maybe somewhere else in the country they're like that. I've never seen them like that. Anyway, I'm trying to stay with something that is either very natural, obviously, if you haven't figured this out, or something that is off the wall. One or the other. I try to go, you know, those ways and then still take into account the water clarity. These don't fit either one of those. Even in natural, really clear water, this doesn't really look, again, because it's going to be doing that number, you know, it's going to be doing all this. It just doesn't look right to me. It doesn't look right. I bet, you know what, I'm saying this, and someone's probably smoked a 15-pounder on this thing, but I can't bring myself to throw it, and this would be no different. Okay, so that's about it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure you give it the thumbs up, like, subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these videos. We got open water season now. I'm actually going to try to go do a little fishing here in just a minute. And until then, see you guys on the water.